Welcome to the Railway Series Book Club, the podcast where we dissect the Railway series. I'm Jamie.
I'm Marina.
I'm Vivian.
And we hope you enjoy the show. Welcome to the Railway Series Book Club, the podcast where we have filler episodes. Just like this book. This is a filler episode.
And not the good kind of filler. Okay, I'm fucking gonna go off here. I'm sorry. But it's like, people act like filler is inherently the worst thing ever when it's like...
It's
like,
not.
no, it's not. Yeah. It's like I'm a fucking Sailor Moon fan, as episodes of this
You like Sailor Moon? You never told
as I've
me.
been annoying about on this whole thing. But, like, 90% of the 90s anime could basically be considered filler because there barely is anything in the manga. Even if, like, you discount, like, the episodes that are still, like, relevant to the plot that anime does, like, that aren't necessarily in the manga, like, you still have, like, a lot of filler. But that's also where, like, they establish the characters and make you care about them and stuff. So it's like, you know, sometimes filler is good. It can actually be done really well. This is the opposite of that. This is literally that Audrey needed to fill more pages, and the other stories in this book are shit and couldn't do that.
Yeah, we should introduce ourselves, actually, before I go on that, like, response I wanted to make to your thing.
Sorry.
Hello. It's okay. We have many things to get to today, and at the same time, not much. I am Jamie. I am your hostess with the mostest, pronounced she, her.
Marina, your local TV series bitch, pronoun she, her.
I'm Vivian.
Yeah.
Also she, her. I'm
Yeah.
British. Things have changed.
If, you may think you may have heard different names in the previous episodes. This is an illusion. You're simply living in the Mandela Effect timeline, and you need to come to grips with reality.
You could say that you need to leave the loop.
Yeah.
Yeah, just... Hi everyone. I'm V. I changed my name.
Yeah.
It's adorable and fits you, and I love you.
I love you. V, Vi, VV, Vivian, any of it's fucking good.
Yeah. Alright, now that's sorted. I was gonna say, I think something about, like, the concept of filler is that I feel like a lot of people who complain about it kind of, like, misunderstand what it is, because, like, I feel like for a lot of people, anything that's filler is just anything that is not, like, fighting the big bad guy of an arc. Like, because who cares about characterization or anything? If this guy's not gaining enough power-up points, and if we're not seeing, like, him face the villain 24/7, and everything else is just filler, who cares about making a good story or characters? I just want to see punching.
Genuine thing. I'm fairly sure my two favorite episodes of the entirety of Ben 10, every single show, count as filler.
Yeah, like...
Because it's like a fucking alternate universe thing, and, like, none of it matters.
Same with, like, me with Sailor Moon. My favorite episodes from literally every season are filler. I'm pretty sure, like, my favorite episode that's not filler is... Or, like, I think the best episode in the show, like, not my favorite, because it's fucking pain, is the one where they all die at the end of the first season. But, like, that episode is only good because, like, the filler makes you care about the characters. Like, I kind of went off about this before, but, like, part of the series, like, the development of that series was that, like, originally the author of the manga wanted to kill everyone off at the end of the first arc, and then that would just be the end. And then the editors were like, fucking no. And
Oh, so it's like Henry.
yeah. But then, like, she saw that the TV series literally did an episode called The Death of the Sailor Guardians, where they all very brutally die in different ways, and then, like, the two-part finale ends with fucking Sailor Moon dying and them all getting revived. But it's, like, the difference between the TV series and the manga up to that point is that, like, the TV series, like, the characters actually mattered. As in the manga, none of them do shit, so their deaths would be completely meaningless. And they are when it happens. In the end. So, like, you know, filler can be good sometimes.
Yeah, like, what is the point of, like, going up to the big bad and punching them if you don't, like, understand the struggles of a character or what makes them happy and why this victory would be meaningful to them? That's what filler provides. Unfortunately, this story doesn't provide anything like that. It is literally just 4 pages of space taken up by Audrey adapting a story from a book, the name of which I am blanking on. It was about, like, railway stuff.
I actually have it because there's a note in
Yes, it's in the story. That's why I should have remembered it.
Do you want me to just read the note? Okay. This story is adapted from one told by Mr. C. Hamilton Ellis in The Trains We Loved. We gratefully acknowledge his permission to use it.
Yeah. It's cool he got permission to use it, though. I'm sure that must have been a... Would that have been a high honor at the time, or...
I feel like it was probably just Wilbur being like, hello, I would very much appreciate being allowed to base a story in my railway series upon your book.
He was just like, okay, sure. No biggie.
I love the idea that Wilbert's the only one in the world who talks like that.
Snow in the actual railway series version of this book or story? I don't remember.
There is no snow as far as I'm aware. That is just one reason why the TV series version is so much better.
Yeah,
that was my segue for you.
For this episode,
sorry.
This episode, we're all TV series.
Yeah, sorry, I just zoned out. I had snow halation on. Fuck you.
Hi.
I thought of it because the TV series version of this episode, which, yeah, as Jamie was setting up, is just, like, actually way, way, way better. Because it's an actual story with characters that interact with each other, and
it has
scenes
a beginning and an end.
Yeah,
and great visuals and music,
and like a sequence of events and like scenes that like transition naturally between one another, and like characters actually driving the story and everything. I fucking missed this shit.
Yeah, like, it is. On the one hand, I do wish Gordon's Whistle had gotten, like, picked to be adapted way later in season 3, just so that maybe some additional content would help that episode. But at the same time, I'm very happy that A Scarf for Percy was made, just because it takes this nothing story and turns it into something really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like, the scene at the beginning with Thomas and Percy was one of my favorite scenes in the entire show as a kid.
It's a really strong start to the season, I think, in terms of both, like it's a really good introduction to Michael Angelis. It's like, it has some really nice snow effects. Like, it's a great introduction to the new style of music. It's a very good opener for that season, especially, like, it's a Percy episode. Like, how many, like, how often do we, like, I mean, I guess Percy gets a few season opener episodes, doesn't he?
Sydney got one.
Yeah,
once.
I like that the mid CGI era that kind of like stopped being a solely Thomas thing to, like, be the season opener. But I do appreciate variety in who opens a season.
I want to say very quickly, I very much like the fact that even if it's very kind of different how it was later, in the first episode he ever narrated, Michelangelos already has James as a scouser.
Wars.
God.
Also, season...
Should I start the
Yeah,
story?
let's just start the story. Let's get this over with.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah,
I
sure.
want to go.
Season
what's up?
3 is really pretty looking, and, like...
Is
the
Season 3
snow
is really pretty
good.
looking, and so are you.
Yeah.
I feel like the story quality in season 3 is very hit or miss, but the everything else, like just the presentation of the season is very, very good. I can't fault it for that.
Percy and the trousers. On cold mornings, Percy often saw workmen wearing scarves. My funnel's cold, my funnel's cold, he would puff. I want a scarf, I want a scarf. Rubbish, Percy, Henry said one day. Engines don't want scarves. Engines with proper funnels do, said Percy in his cheeky way. You've only got a small one. Henry snorted. He was proud of his short, neat funnel. Just then a train came in, and Percy, still puffing, I want a scarf, I want a scarf, went to take the coaches to their siding. This is a fucking non-opener.
Like it's one
This is like-
it's one
this
sentence
isn't the
of
beginning of a
opening,
story.
and then, like it's okay, but the TV series does such a better job of expanding it.
Yeah, because it's like...
Yeah, like the TV series has an actual scene of Thomas and Percy complaining about the cold, and then it naturally weaves into Percy realizing, oh shit, I would like a
Yeah,
scarf.
and then this scene essentially becomes like, Percy like just becoming fixated on it. Like, oh, like he just looks everywhere. And there's just people, all these people wearing scarves, and it just keeps building until he meets Henry.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Yeah, which it's like... that's one of the things where, like, it really was interesting going to, like, from the Raleigh series version of this to the TV series one, because it's like the parts the TV series adapts, like, it does, like, pretty thoroughly. Like, the scene with Henry is the same. It's just, like, it has actual build up and lead into it to make it
Yeah.
a story.
Yeah, I feel like this episode is a very ideal adaptation of a Railway series story, in that it's essentially the same but better. There's more to it.
Yeah.
There's more like connective tissue. It improves on elements that the original is lacking. This is ideal.
Like I said a second ago, one of my favorite scenes in the entire show as a kid was the scene of talking about the firelighter.
Yeah.
Just like, I just thought it was really
Yeah.
fun, and also I just love the interaction of like, oh, maybe we'd feel better if we talked about warm things like sunshine and
Or
steam
firelighters.
and firelighters.
It's very natural too. Like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Considering this is the first original story they ever wrote for the show, technically, that's the first original scene they did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They nailed
Yeah, like
it.
that. Honestly, that does feel like a believable, like, Railway series-ish interaction, considering they're, like, waiting for the firelighter.
Honestly, it's
Yeah.
just like I feel like it's just natural for the like series in general. It just feels like two friends having a conversation, I guess. Like, it's really natural, and
Yeah.
I
Firelighter should be here by now. He's late. He's not late.
God. Also, we have the best fucking line in the series.
Yeah, haha, funny pee-pee joke.
Funny
To be
penis.
fair, it's probably because I'm immature, but I find that joke funny mainly just... I guess it's just partially because of Evangelos' delivery, and partially just because it's a funny line out of context.
Angelus is just like, engines with proper funnels do. You've only got a small
Percy
one.
sounds, like, genuinely, like, annoyed at it, and I like that.
Haha, funny train.
Funny train! You almost had something there.
Funny train.
God.
Also,
Do we have anything else?
something we can bring up. Willie Rushton never narrated this story. The only
yeah.
version out there is one Michael Angelos did, which...
And it has, like, the sound songs plastered over it or whatever.
It has sounds,
Genuinely, do you
surprises.
think when he was doing that, do you think he remembered narrating it in season 3 and it's just like, ah, this is just the same thing but worse?
I hope so. A lot of the delivery is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's those, like, I've heard a few of his narrations of stuff like that, and he gets more emotive than he does in the actual TV series by that point.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
because that was like season 8.
Do you think it was genuinely just he didn't like the stories at that point, so he didn't put much
I
effort
don't.
in?
That could
No,
be it.
honestly.
I feel like to an extent it might have also just been the fatigue of having done it for so long. You know.
Yeah, I think it also doesn't help. He probably was like still kind of understandably annoyed about Magic Railroad.
Road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm amazed he came back, frankly.
Yeah, no, it honestly wouldn't be surprising if he left after that. It led to
Yeah.
Alec Baldwin quitting.
It's just like, wow, you cast him as like a fair few characters, and two of which are like once he was very good at voicing, and then you just fucking cut him completely from the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Shit sucks.
that's the biggest thing with it, is it's like, I can get if they even just like were like, okay, we're gonna like recast, say, Percy, but like have you stay as James and like Splodge, or like, oh, we'll recast, like, just like something, but still
Just keep
letting
him
him
there.
be
Keep
in.
him as James.
Yeah,
He's
just
perfect as
just
James.
let him be in the movie. And if like they really had to change James and Percy, it's like, let him stay as Splodge. Or I honestly wonder if he just walked after they like took the other roles, though. I guess we'll never really know.
Yeah.
His driver always shut off steam just outside the station, and Percy would try to surprise the coaches by coming in as quietly as he could. Two porters were taking some luggage across the line. They had a big load and were walking backwards. See that none fell off the trolley. Percy arrived so quietly that the porters didn't hear him till the trolley was on the line. The porters jumped clear, the trolley disappeared with a crunch, boxes and bags burst in all directions.
So
We're already
this is the first time
here.
we see Sir Topham
This
Hatt.
is like the ending of the
Yeah.
story.
Wait, really?
Yeah. Like I think I might have mentioned
This
it
is
maybe like once, maybe. I don't quite remember. But like here it's like literally written there on the thing.
Oh.
this is in the TV series episode. This is like the end of the story.
Because they actually set up like the Fat Controller like having like an important thing he's going
Yeah.
to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the scene of him in
Which,
the
like-
office. As of right now, we don't know, like, we don't even know that Sir Topham Hatt is the Fat Controller. Technically, if you're not reading the
Oh,
forewords.
yeah.
Well, in that case it might be a
They've never
good bit of
mentioned
like,
that
you know,
in the.
this is just kind of like the in-story way of saying, hey, this guy's Sir Topham Hatt, actually. So, like, you know, that's, it's a
Yes.
neat little attention to detail, but also, like,
It's just kind of like.
Could have
Yeah.
had an actual story.
It's just like the scene of him in the office is to set up like, oh fuck,
I
This is
think
gonna-
that
this is
scene
gonna
comes
tie in
before,
somehow.
like the scene in the office comes before even like Percy and Henry talk too. Yeah,
It's-
yeah.
it's before Percy and
It's-
Henry, yeah.
God, all of this is weird.
It's
This is
very strange.
The story
like
sucks.
shot in the TV series of like Percy trying to sneak into the station.
Yeah. It's fun.
The
you know,
crash is fun.
Percy, like, being sneaky is, you know, that's funny, I think, you know.
Did we
It's
get
a
to the
thing you do, I guess, but I feel like it's not particularly, like... I feel like it's less explained in the episode than in the book for some reason, but, like, you know...
I mean, doesn't
know.
it just say like he was trying to like sneak in and reach the coaches? Or, like
Yeah.
surprise
I mean, like,
them.
Yeah, it just says like Percy's just being a cheeky dick. He
Yeah,
just
which
wants
is
to
like-
fucking startle the
I
coaches.
feel like is all you really need. for something like this? As it's
I
like,
guess so.
he's a kid who's doing something he thinks is funny in the moment, which is, like, 80% of what kids do. Yeah.
Then immediately gets him into
Yeah.
shit, and he's gonna cry. Gonna cry
Also,
like a
this
little
is
bitch baby
going
he
back,
is.
but I forgot something really important. There's the like imagination scene where Percy's like imagining himself with a scarf in the TV series is both really cute, and there's a wind up of it, and I need it.
It is a very cute moment in the TV series.
Like, I'm pretty sure they.
I think we have one in the Thomas Vault. You just have to get it for Andrew to
Shit,
get
I'll
to
fight them. We're gonna square up. Are we like? Do we have one page left? Or
We have 2 pages left. This is
Oh
page
my
2
God.
of 4.
How long have we been recording?
20 minutes.
20 minutes.
Jesus H. Christ.
And like a bit of that's gonna be cut as well because of like we were starting.
Jesus. Okay, let's see how fast we can speedrun this.
Oh, groaned Percy and stopped. Sticky streams of red and yellow jam trickled down his face. A top hat hung on his lamp iron. Clothes, hats, boots, shoes, skirts, and blouses stuck to his front. A pair of striped trousers coiled lovingly round his funnel. They were grey no longer. Angry passengers looked at their broken trunks. The fat controller seized the top hat. Mine, he said crossly. Percy, look at this. Yes, sir. I am, sir, a muffled voice replied.
I feel like this is one of the like, you know, this is one of like the times it sticks out in my mind when the fat controller is like well and truly pissed. And like honestly, I
He
can't
has
say I
every
blame
right to
him.
be. Yeah, that's the thing. Innocence justified. Like
Yeah,
Percy just like came in, ruined everyone's shit.
Yeah, we're
And-
gonna have to pay for that now, and you ruined my trousers. What the fuck's wrong with you?
Also,
This is a bus advertising troublesome engines.
Yeah, it's I was gonna say bulgy, but he's blue, so that'd be like Balgy, the
Blugy.
fusion of Birdie and Algae.
It's blue.
oh, that's why they're double decker.
Yeah,
Also,
I always liked algae. I actually had the annual that had the algae stories, and I actually quite liked him as a kid.
Algae's neat. God, I'm having a fucking thoughts now. What if Algae is the Luigi to Birdie's Mario, and Bulgy is the Wario to Birdie's Mario? Would that make this
So
double
is
decker but
Waluigi.
Waluigi?
this bus is actually Bulgy's friend that they mention.
Oh, of course. Now everything makes sense.
Typically he just kind of idles around Tidmouth and but Bulgy called him up to Alsborough.
He was like, okay, yeah, whatever.
Mariah, can I just say I'm glad that you found the mine.
You know,
funny.
I was just gonna say I love how you delivered that. I love that moment in general, and I'm glad it's
Yeah.
something that's actually in the book version of this because it's something at least. And your delivery on it was amazing. I love it. I love you.
Thank you.
So something.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
fun.
sorry.
You go.
So something I have to wonder is like, why are there jars of jam? I hear this a lot when like people talk about the episode. It's just why are there jars of jams? The passengers' luggage. They're just like someone there who's just taking a bunch of jam on the train with them.
Somebody probably just bought some jam while in town.
Yeah, I
You see,
guess.
there was someone on the train who was a traveling jam salesman. And Percy just ruined his business.
Percy just wanted to jam out. He didn't really understand what it meant.
Little dumbass, little baby man.
Little stupid bitch. Dumb little stupid bitch train. My best trousers, too. Yes, sir. Please, sir, said Percy nervously. I am very cross, said the fat controller. We must pay the passengers for their spoilt clothes. My hat is dented, and my trousers are ruined. All because you will come into the station as if you were playing grandmother's steps with the coaches. The driver unwound the trousers. The Fat Controller waved them away. Percy wanted a scarf. He shall have my trousers for a scarf. They will keep him warm. Percy wore them back to the yard. He doesn't like scarves now.
And then it just ends.
What a way to end. Perfectly natural.
I will say, I do kind of like the, like, no, you fucking wanted a scarf? You're having it. You're keeping
that's
them.
The
That is
thing
fun,
with
I
this
think,
story,
yeah.
and I think why the TV series version, like, works in so well is because it's like, there's a good story here. It's just, like, this isn't even an outline, really. Like, this is, like, the bare minimum you need of a story. It's like, oh, Percy wants thing. Engine is like, that's stupid. Percy does something stupid. He gets thing in an ironic way. The end.
Yeah, it literally just ends with Percy being like, Percy doesn't like scarves now. And that's another area where the TV series just fucking hits it out of the park.
Yeah, the TV
Because
series.
instead of just being
I love it's
you
just
know,
like the.
Percy doesn't like scarves now, end scene, they have a scene at the end where Percy is like, oh, well, scarves are silly. What engine needs a scarf?
Yeah.
Like, clearly,
Yeah,
you know,
it's like-
instead of, like, you know, being like, oh, Percy just knows better now, we actually see Percy demonstrate that he knows better now. Or at the very least that his, you know, his pride has been damaged and he's trying to abstain himself from the subject of scarves.
I do love the interaction. It's just like, you won't need a scarf tomorrow, Percy. Of course I won't. Engines don't need scarves. Everyone knows that.
And it even ties in the thing at the beginning of the episode that they added. It's so well thought out.
It's like it's an actual story.
Yeah. It's a novel concept, I know.
Okay, Percy and a scarf for Percy was not written by the Reverend W. Audrey.
Yeah.
He deserves no credit for this
Well,
one.
I mean, if we're being technical, this was him adapting someone else's story, and then someone else adapted that. So, like, technically speaking, this is an adaptation.
What's his name?
This something TV series original story. I don't know. I botched that
Wait, let me see.
punchline.
Mr. C. Hamilton Ellis and Brittlecroft and David Mitten deserve the credit for this one.
But don't you know, Britt and David are bad writers who are arrogant trash. Didn't Audrey say that, basically?
I don't think he said that. You know.
No, that's a fandom thing.
Yeah.
No, I think he said he thought they got hot-headed and tried writing their own stuff, and like what he was saying about how he did like Henry's Forest.
Hmm.
I mean, it's
I'm
like,
exaggerating.
I guess it's like any writer wouldn't be a fan of someone changing their writing style.
Yeah, like, you know, it is easy to, like, you know, it is easy to get on Audrey's case for, like, not accepting changes to his writing style, but this series is his baby, so, like, them, like, getting it wrong in his eyes was, you know, definitely upsetting to him. Like, it you know, even if it is arguable how valid he is in his interpretation of, like, ruining the series with it, you know, it is definitely understandable why he'd be upset, because, like, it's his baby.
I mean, for what it's worth, he was right about when the Americans get hold of it.
Yep.
I
guess it's just the thing is, like, fundamentally, at this point in his life, no one had ever written Thomas with the exception of him and his son, like, twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I guess it's like season 3 definitely was where it's like you kind of started seeing more Brit's version of Sodar compared to which it's like I know that's a very controversial thing. I mean, not really controversial. Most people just think the like Railway series is better, which fair. But I do respect it a lot.
Yeah, I feel like Brit did understand, like, what made Sodor and the Railway series good to an extent. Like,
I
because, like,
think,
she is right. Sodor is magical. It's a magical place. It's just, it's better. It's good escapism to an extent.
yeah.
That magic isn't
It's just
literal,
not
but
magical in the way that she tried to
Yeah,
make it.
yeah.
I think it went way too far in the end, but I think having, like, portraying Sodor as kind of just this, like, pleasant place where, like, it's kind of really, like, it's removed from, like, the, like, horrors of the
Yeah.
world. Like, I like it, and I especially think,
I mean, at the end, that was ultimately the thesis statement of the books.
Yeah.
I, honestly,
Obviously, Brit did it in her own different way, which was not even really a worse way. Because I love a lot of Brit's original work.
yeah, this is getting ahead, but I feel like the Railway series tried a lot. Like, obviously it wasn't, like, ever, like, it's kind of, I think it's kind of explicit that, like, Audrey tried avoiding, like, World War II and everything, but, like, it did try and cover, like, actual world things relating to railways, of course, but, like, still, whereas, like Brit wanted Sodor to be a fantasy, and that's,
Which I don't think is necessarily a
yeah,
bad
no, I'm
thing.
not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that it's what
It's different.
yeah. But God, what was my point? It was like I like it, and I honestly think the TV series would have benefited from going further with it, because it's like stuff like escape and stuff, which this is really far ahead, but I feel like is very hurt by that.
It's very hurt by the TV series.
Yeah.
And it's
Like,
I honestly feel like they should have just introduced Oliver a different way, because it's like, it's clear from the TV series they didn't really want to touch the, like, real world, like, scrapping stuff, but then, like, they were trying to do it while removing it from
yeah,
the context of the world.
they were trying to have their cake and eat it too.
Yeah, which
The phrase is fucking stupid. What's the point of having a cake if you can't eat it?
I don't understand the idiom either, but it's the idiom, okay?
I feel like I feel like it's the kind of thing where it, like, would have been, or I do wonder if it was just like they couldn't do something else, or they didn't know if they could. Because it's like,
I think it might have been that they might not have wanted to stray like way too far off track.
yeah,
Speaking of getting off track,
yeah. Sorry, I have nothing to talk
it's all
about with
good.
this actual story.
should we get to ratings?
Let's get to ratings.
Get this over
I will go
with.
first. This story is the bare minimum, and I think at the very least it provides a good outline to build the TV series version off of, but as it stands, it is kind of just a waste of space. It doesn't add anything to Henry's arc. It, doesn't really do an awful lot for Percy's characterization besides just being like, a generic slice of life story about him being silly, which is, nice and all, but doesn't really suit itself well to this book. And I feel like the runtime used in this story, all 4 pages could have been better spent in other stories to improve the pacing of the books, or improve stories like Gordon's Whistle, which desperately needed like 1 or 2 extra pages to flesh it out. So I don't think I could give it anything. I don't feel like I could give it like a Gordon, but I feel like it gets a low James. Like, if this was a TV series version we were talking about, it'd undoubtedly be like a Toby or Duck, just because it's like a way more fleshed out story then. But just because we're judging the book version, it's a low James.
Yeah, fair. This story gets a James for me. It's perfectly average. There's nothing here. Like, I mean, there's good concepts, there's some good moments, but there's no substance here. And the TV series version would probably go to Douglas. I have no problem with it, and I really enjoy it. But yeah,
And honestly, I'm gonna fucking do it. Thomas.
Whoa, that is
valid.
It does not deserve anything more.
that is low. Like, I didn't think we'd be getting into Thomas's until we got to like fucking like Chris Audrey stuff and like late Chris at that. Wow.
I feel like I don't get angry on this podcast very often. I fucking hate this.
Valid.
This is my least favorite story in Wilbert's entire run. Like, the missing coach is stupid, but I at least get some enjoyment out of it because I like Donald and Douglas. This just fucking sucks. Like, fucking Thomas, I hate it. I'm done.
That's fair. Honestly, I honestly completely agree. I guess for me, it's like when I give like James's, it's more like that there's nothing I like enough. Like, there's not enough good to put for me to give it any points, but there's not enough like bad that like I take stuff away. But like honestly, I completely giving this basically nothing because it is nothing.
This is the thing, right?
Yeah.
A James makes sense if it has at least a little bit of creativity in it. This isn't even Wilbert's story.
Yeah, he just took it.
Yeah.
Like, he took this story from someone else and did nothing with it. Like, honestly, if this was a scarf for Percy, I would give it like a Donald. I love that episode. It's one of my favorites. Fuck this.
Okay.
Valid.
Well, on that bombshell from V, I guess that's the end of the episode.
Popping off.
Shall we give this nothingness a name? Snowhalation. I don't have anything else.
Well, you know what? Next time we're going to be going into Henry Sneeze, the final story in Henry the Great.
Oh,
And
boy!
you know what? We had a lot to say about
boy.
this one, surprisingly, but you know what? Hopefully next time should be just smooth sailing and we won't have to talk about anything bad happening at all.
Nothing bad ever happens to Henry.
God.
We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye, everyone. Railway series theme goes here.